Fred Lynch is the 2013 recipient of the Alberta Road Builders and Heavy Construction Association's Honorary Lifetime Membership Award.
I was managing Twin Bridges Sand and Gravel, and we needed to rent some equipment, and Fred Lynch called on me, offered to put forth a deal for us to rent some equipment. And when Fred left, I made a mental note and said, I want that man to represent us. He came to work for Twin Bridges Sand and Gravel in 1966.
We were hauling plaster sand out to the residential development in Sherwood Park, and we would drop 3 yards off at Joe Blow's house. We go down the street and drop off another 3 yards at Sam's house. I spent my first 4 to 6 months doing that kind of thing, and one day I just said, hey guys, there's got to be a better way to make a living. That's when we started to branch out into the industrial side of things.
So there's no doubt about it, is Fred definitely led us into the project work. When I first joined the company in the 70s, they just finished a lot of work up in the Fox Creek area, and when that was just opening up. And Fred had gotten in there and established relationships and got the company a lot of work.
He wouldn't give up till he got in there, so yeah.
And our next big area of focus has been Fort McMurray.
We spent 8 straight years working at Fort McMurray between the Suncor plant and the Syncrude plant. And as of today, guess where we are? Suncor and Syncrude.
Fred's a big part of the reason of TBG's success, and a big part of that is just because of Fred and his marketing, sales ability to get us out there and get us in the right jobs at the right place at the right time.
Fred would come in and he'd lay this thing out and say, here's our pricing. He said, if you give me the order today, I could look after that for you from today on. And the guy would say, you know what, I think I'll do that.
Fred was a master at negotiation. I got the benefit, the privilege actually, to watch him work a room. And Fred was good. Fred was really good.
We were just on the road nonstop. Agnes was home with the 3 kids, and we were doing what we had to do, and you just had to come home, sleep, change your clothes, and get down the road again.
He was the only guy that could come into the office and pick up a bag of cash and go out and make a deal with a farmer and buy stones and come back at the end of the day. Bag's empty, I need more money for tomorrow.
But you know, he had a case of rye and a box of calendars in the trunk of the car. And when he went out to buy some rocks off a farmer, because the farmer had this pile of rocks that he thinks a pain in the butt. And Dad says, well, those are going to be great for riprap. And so, you know, sometimes it cost him a check and a bottle of rye.
Fred's memory is fantastic. He can remember sites that he visited 10 years earlier to look for gravel.
You know, talking to my brother, and he used to joke about Dad knowing the name of every farmer that had a gravel pit. So, you know, we'd be driving down a road and there'd be a farmer and he'd say, yeah, this guy's got a pretty good pit over here, or this guy thinks he's got a really good pit.
He remembered not only places, but people. He had an incredible inventory of people, and his ability to be able to remember those people and call them by their first name, a real personal connection, was pretty amazing.
Fred had the capability of looking at a set of plans and quickly in his mind coming up with the tonnage required to complete the project. And sometimes he would go back to the engineers and tell them right off the very start that their tonnage is short. It was a knack that no other person I knew had.
He's Mr. Gravel. I think there is little or nothing that he doesn't know about gravel, beginning with the exploitation of a resource to the businesses surrounding aggregates. It's a real pleasure to work with him.
Fred has a lot of integrity. If Fred tells you we're going to do a job at a certain price, you can take that to the bank, and his word is good.
Fred's contribution to the road building and heavy construction industry is that there wasn't a job in Alberta of any size that Fred wasn't involved in, or we weren't involved in one way or the other. And if we weren't involved, we sure gave it our best college shot.
Fred just has an amazing memory. He doesn't use a computer, he doesn't write much stuff down.
He hates computers. I've been trying to get him to get a computer, and he won't. He won't. Absolutely refuses.
He used to come back and say, the guy's got a bunch of new computers that can tell him how many meters of gravel are in that pit. And he says, but it doesn't sell any of the gravel. But we're talking about a man with telephones like way before. Back in those days, Dad had 2 different telephones in the car. Talking to Nick and talking to Don on the 2 different telephones while he was answering Agnes's call from the front steps, while he was backing out the driveway, while he was driving down the street. I mean, he was a rolling mobile office, a road warrior in the truest sense.
I've had a great wife. She's been very strong and very supportive.
Fred and Agnes were always great hosts.
He and Mom made a wonderful team. After 59 years of being married, it's an amazing legacy.
Fred's very caring. He always asked about family, friends, and individuals in the workplace. I would sometimes phone him on issues that had nothing to do with the gravel business, and he was the person that I would rely on.
Fred felt he could lend a hand somehow, some way. He was always good about doing that.
His enthusiasm today is still like it was when he first started in the business. There is no doubt there's no one else like him.
On behalf of all of us at the Alberta Road Builders, thank you, Fred, for your contribution to the industry. Congratulations!